versus John Vance Prim, a motion to approve attorney's fees and final distribution.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Your Honor, we're seeking a final order in this case. The property has sold. The net proceeds have been deposited with the clerk and master. It was just a little interestingly situated in that Mr. Prim's net proceeds were subsumed by the judgment lien, so none of the funds remitted to the court constitute his proceeds, so the entirety of what has been remitted would be the petitioner's proceeds as we outlined in the motion. So we're asking for approval of the attorney's fees and asking the clerk and master to remit those two amounts for attorney's fees and Ms. Prim's net proceeds, and she is here as well.
All right, let's have Ms. Prim come up just to make sure that. Good morning, Ms. Prim. If you'll raise your right hand, let's place you under oath.
It's really Miss Maya.
All right, I'm sorry.
I do.
All right, if you want to go ahead. Mr. Mills has filed a motion to approve this attorney's fees and final distribution. Essentially, as you know, this property was held by you and your husband jointly, and after motions filed and hearings held by this court, it was ordered that the property be sold as more or less a partition, and that upon that sale, the judgment that was granted to your daughter, who is the victim of the abuse that he had inflicted upon her, was satisfied partially, at least, by granting whatever portion of the ownership he had of that property to her. And I assume she has received those funds now, is that correct?
She has.
So the remaining portion of those funds would be awarded to you as the owner of the 1/2 interest in the property. And what we're here today asking is if you have any objection to Mr. Mills's attorney's fees request that he's filed. All right, then Mr. Mills, I will grant your request, and that will terminate this matter. Now, there's no other issues that are pending regarding this, correct?
Correct. This would be a final.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again for agreeing to hear this.
You're going to take it. Who's going to take the file?
Going right now. Cool.
Ms. Rhonda, if you can hear me there in Ashland City, we are sending the file back with Andrew Mills. He's about 6 feet tall, wearing a blue suit, a white shirt, and a red tie. Just making sure you understand that he has your file. Thank you, Mr. Mills.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, then we're ready to call the docket. If you want to call the first case. Come up, please. You'll raise your right hand. Let me have you placed under oath. Raise your right hand so I can have you placed under oath.
I'm supposed to repeat. Sorry.
No, let me just make sure you understand. I understand you're nervous. You don't have to be nervous about anything. You can put your hand down now. The main thing is do you understand that the testimony you're giving today is going to be testimony under oath? That means it's sworn testimony and you're swearing to tell the truth.
Yes.
All right. Second thing, it's normal for people who are not used to being in a courtroom. I'm in a courtroom every day, so it's used to me. These bailiffs are used to it. But some people are not used to it, so it's understandable if you were nervous or whatever. But are you on any kind of medication today that would affect your ability to understand these proceedings?
I don't think anything I'm taking should.
Okay. You have filed a request to change your name. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
And you're wanting to change your name from Benjamin Robert Carmona to Mina Maria Rosa Carmona. Is that correct? You want to change your name to what I've just said?
No, I'm sorry.
You're transitioning.
Yes.
All right, I
Yes,
understand
Your
that, and that's what you've said in your petition. I'm required by law to ask a couple of questions to make sure there is a legitimate purpose. Are you asking to change your name to avoid criminal prosecution?
No.
Are you asking to change your name to avoid your just debts or creditors?
No.
All right, then the reason that you've stated in your petition, is that the only reason you want to change your name?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you prepared an order that grants this request for a name change?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then if you'll hand that to the officer, please. I'm going to ask you to, well, I'm not going to ask you to sign. I'm signing your order granting your name change. Any citizen in this country has a right to change their name to whatever they want to, as long as it's not done for an illegal purpose. And so I'm granting your name change request. You can get a copy from the clerk's office a little later in the morning, okay? That's the clerk and master's office, so you're free to go.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
I have filed a motion, two motions in this case. This is my client, Mr. Washington, who's coming up. Oh, and Ms. Washington is present as well, Judge.
Ms. Noelle Washington, if you're here, come up. We have two motions. One is a motion to compel mediation. The other is a motion to establish a temporary parenting plan. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Washington has filed an answer in these divorce proceedings. She's pro se. I've had difficulty communicating with her, being able to contact Ms. Washington. I spoke with her on one occasion, so trying to move this case forward. I know that our local rules are going to require mediation in this, so I don't believe the request for mediation is opposed.
Are you in agreement to go to a mediator? It will cost you some money to do so because both sides have to pay the cost of the mediator. But if you go to the mediator, you will each pay one half of the cost of the mediator. And that mediator will be intending to try to help the two of you resolve your case by an agreement. Is there any idea, Ms. Franklin, that perhaps you could speak with her today?
I think that would probably be a good idea, Your Honor.
I'm going to
maybe
pass your
resolve it.
case because the second motion, besides asking that you go to a mediator for the final mediation in your case, is to establish a temporary parenting plan. And if you two cannot agree, then I'm going to conduct a hearing today to determine what the parenting plan should be. And you have 4 children, is that correct? So those 4 children are going to be my main concern. It doesn't matter to me which parent is going to be the primary caregiver, but it will be the person that I find to be the most appropriate person to take care of these children. So I'm going to pass your case, let Ms. Franklin, who's an experienced lawyer, talk with you about it. She represents him, not you, but you have the right to talk with her to see whether or not the two of you can come to an agreement. If not, we'll come back to your case and have a hearing. All right, thank you. We'll put it on the second call, Ms. Franklin.
That hearing had a little bit of everything. Judge David Wolfe presided over a mixed docket that began with closing out a property dispute, moved into a heartfelt name change petition, and ended with a divorce case headed toward mediation either prim matter, where the court approved attorney's fees and the final distribution of proceeds from the sale of jointly owned property. The wrinkle was that Mr. Prim's share had already been consumed by a judgment lien in favor of his daughter, leaving Mrs. Prim as the sole recipient of the net proceeds. Judge Wolfe confirmed she had no objection to counsel's fee request and granted the motion, neatly closing out the case. The tone was efficient but clear, ensuring everyone understood why the distribution looked unusual. The next case was more personal. Benjamin Robert Carmona petitioned to change his name to Mina Maria Rosa Carmona as part of his gender transition. Judge Wolfe handled the request with patience and respect, placing Carmona under oath, confirming she wasn't seeking the change to avoid debts or prosecution, and acknowledging the legitimate personal reason. He granted the request on the spot, reminding everyone that any citizen has the right to change their name, if not for an unlawful purpose. His tone was encouraging, telling Carmona she could collect her signed order later that morning, and the courtroom felt supportive and affirming. Finally, the court turned to a divorce case between Mr. and Miss Washington. Counsel for Mr. Washington filed motions to compel mediation and to establish a temporary parenting plan. Miss Washington, appearing pro se, had filed an answer but hadn't been in consistent communication, which made moving the case forward difficult. Judge Wolfe emphasized that mediation was required under local rules and explained that while it would cost money, both sides would share the expense equally. He encouraged Miss Washington to speak with opposing counsel informally to see if agreement could be reached, especially since their 4 children were his primary concern. He stressed that he didn't favor one parent over the other, but would make his decision based on who could provide the most appropriate care. The case was passed temporarily to give the parties a chance to talk before the court took up the parenting plan issue directly. The overall courtroom atmosphere was steady, pragmatic, and at times compassionate. Property and financial matters were resolved efficiently, a deeply personal petition was handled with dignity, and a difficult custody dispute was guided toward mediation with a focus on the children's best interests. Judge Wolfe's tone blended firmness with understanding, keeping the docket moving while showing respect for the human realities behind each case. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one.